Hello guys, LifeHackster here. This is the second video for the Ring Outdoor Cam Plus, and I will link down below my initial review of this camera where I tested it in wired or plugged-in mode. Today, I'll test it in battery mode. So just like Ring stick-up cams and spotlight cams, the newer generation anyways, Ring has designed them just to have one camera and you can power it either plugged in or wired in, and also power it up with Ring's battery pack, which you can then have an option to charge the battery using a solar panel. And also I will revisit the low light sight feature of this camera because Ring actually emailed me about this. They noticed that I turned off the infrared LEDs in one of my tests on my first video, which they said you have to keep the infrared LEDs on. Anyways, keep on watching because me and Ring have a different perception of what low light or near dark situation is. So what I did to the plug-in one that I bought, I just unplugged it and insert a battery pack. By the way, switching this to just battery mode does require to reset up the camera. Also just a note, and this applies to all camera brands, a wired or plug-in Wi-Fi cameras are going to perform way better than a battery or solar powered one, from how long the recordings are and when they start recording and how it detects motion. Generally, wired or plug-in cameras will have pre-recording, meaning it will start recording before motion has been detected. And usually it will also record longer. I made a couple of videos a while back of things to know about wired and battery-powered security cameras, and I will link them down below if you haven't seen them yet. As to the video quality, there's no difference between being wired or battery-powered.
So this is the video and audio quality of the Ring Outdoor Cam Plus, and this is in battery mode. And the video clarity test at 10 feet, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Running like that.
But you can see that the wired one started recording 3 to 4 seconds before I was on the camera's view, while with the battery, I'm already in view. And you might notice another thing, that is the positioning of the camera. In battery view, you can see more of my eaves, and this is because when battery powered, it uses the PIR sensor to detect motion, and its positioning matters as to how far it can detect. If the position is the same like when it was plugged in, and if you go to the motion zones, this is what you will see. You cannot see my fence line. Now, by the way, this is just a guesstimate from Ring on how far its PIR sensor will be able to detect in its current position. And this is actually pretty close because I tested this initially in this position and I'm only getting around 15 to 20 feet of detection range. So I have to tilt the camera up a bit and now you can see my fence line. And let's do some testing. Alright, so we are going to test the notification speed of the Ring Outdoor Cam Plus, and I'm on my 5G cellular network, and this is in battery mode. And 306, let's check it out. Status light is on, so I should be getting a notification here, notification here with a snapshot. Nice, and you can snooze the motion if you want, or the alerts, and then click on this and it should open up the live view, and it loads up pretty quick. Cool. It just changed to 307. Still 307, and I've set the is it motion frequency to frequently. So I should be getting a notification again. Cool off anyways. Yep, status lights on. Nice. Cool. We are going to test the maximum detection distance of the Ring Outdoor Cam Plus, and I've set the sensitivity to the highest, person detection only, and this is in battery mode. So we'll see, it will use its PIR sensor to detect motion, and most likely it will not detect me at 40 feet, unlike when it is in wired mode. See, not at 40. How about 35? Well, not even at 35. I'll just walk through this. It should be here in 30. That's what normally most PIR based sensor does. There you go. Yep, 30 feet right there. Cool. Now we will check and test and see how soon it will start recording and when motion is going towards it. Status light is on, nice. And I should be getting a notification here. Notification is pretty quick. Alright, cool. Overall, this Ring Outdoor Cam Plus in battery mode performed like any other Ring battery-powered cameras. No issues there. But remember, if you can wire or plug this in, this is the best setup for these cameras. More reliable in performance and an option to record 24/7 with an appropriate Ring subscription plan. Now, extra information, especially for the ones that already have Ring accessories. This Outdoor Cam Plus works with Ring's gutter mount. Just unscrew its mount and just screw in the adapter piece and push it in until it clicks onto the gutter mount, and slide in Ring's USB solar panel, and screw in the mount with the camera and the solar panel to your gutters. This is how far you can turn the camera to the right, to the left, and down. This camera also works with Ring's wall or pole mount, which gives your setup with the solar panel just like their gutter mount a cleaner looking install and setup. Alright, let's talk about the low light sight. Now, my backyard, as most of you know, is the proving ground for all the security cameras that I review in this channel. And when a company advertises anything that has to do with low light, like on this Ring, which they advertise to have the low light sight, I had to test it in my backyard. My backyard is what I call near dark. I have ambient lighting like my neighbor's floodlights and also my indoor lights that bleeds through the blinds. This is where I tested Wise Camera's Starlight Sensor, Reolink CX410 and their CX810, which are their low light cameras, and the Tapos Color Pro, because they do advertise that these are low light cameras. So when I saw Ring's low light sight, that is basically what I did. And the only way I can simulate this to closely match the footage to what Ring is showing on their site, and I know they put a little footnote there to cover their behinds, is I have to turn off its infrared LEDs, because this is how it looks like when it is on. I guess my backyard is too dark for Ring, so I gave it another go. This time, luckily I have Eufy's permanent lights, so I can dial in the brightness. And to compare, I also installed Ring Stick-Up Cam Pro. I have the infrared LEDs on both cameras. So at 20% brightness, which is what I set these lights normally, both cameras are still recording with their infrared LEDs on. And that is why you're seeing the black and white footage in the darker areas. Well, I guess let's bump it up to 100%, which is definitely not what they advertise as near darkness. By the way, this is how my backyard looks like when the Eufy lights are 100% bright. And this is the recording now on the Ring Outdoor Cam Plus, which is now in full color, and compared to the Ring Stick-Up Cam Pro, which still partly looks black and white. So in the world of Ring, this Outdoor Cam Plus is better at night compared to their other cameras. But you know what? How about in my well-lit front yard? And yes, it is in full color. Remember, this is recording in 2K, right? 2560 by 1440? Well, here is my CX410, also recording in 2K. And I'll leave it at that. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.